My name is Carrie Farley, and I stand in the firmest affirmation of the following resolution. Resolved, the Star Wars prequels are good. Now, before I move into the first of my three contentions, first we need to go over a couple of definitions, mainly what good means. Now, first, we're going to be talking about not how well received it was, but what it was doing for the time. Was it up to date with the movies of the time? Was it earning money? Was it now received well by fans? We're not going to be judging how it was when it came out, and we're not going to be comparing it to the original Star Wars trilogy because, as we'll get into, that's not a fair comparison. So, the definition of good for this round is the Star Wars prequels were good for the time with the special effects that they made. They earned money, well over $1.1 billion, and eventually they became well loved by fans, and that's everything that makes a good movie. Now let's get into our first of three contentions. Contention 1 is going to be Padme. According to sci-fi.com, the original trilogy did not have any independent female characters who were not sexualized. We all remember Princess Leia being in that incredibly scandalous outfit, especially for the 70s and 80s, in serving Jabba the Hutt. There was nothing like this in the prequels. The prequel showed Padme being a political leader, not just mentioning it, ruling a planet, and trying to save Anakin from going down his path all at the same time. George Lucas did not overly sexualize this character like he did with Leia, and Padme was allowed to be feminine and strong. She didn't have to compromise. She didn't have to give up one or the other. It wasn't like she could not be this strong female character with having to give up her femininity, or the other way around. Additionally, her story and her arc makes for a compelling love story as well as a compelling action movie. She has a lot of action scenes as well as a lot of love scenes. Again, when we're talking about what makes a good movie, especially for the time, this was revolutionary. Moving on to our second contention, which is going to be Star Wars lore. Getting to see the universe expanded on screen is going to be a good thing. According to a Screen Rant article, it gives an insight into the Sith, the Jedi, and the downfall of the Republic. Additionally, the Screen Rant article goes on to discuss how all of the storylines are meaningful. All of these characters get wrapped up at the end of the story, and we get to see where some of our most favorite or our most hated characters came from. It's especially important that this was done on screen because it makes it accessible to casual Star Wars fans. When we're discussing what the prequels did and why they were good movies, it makes something that was previously inaccessible to casual fans accessible. They didn't have to go searching through some random book to find this information. They could just sit and watch the movies in film. Now, moving on to our third contention, it is never going to live up to the original trilogy. The reason why we can't compare it to the original trilogy is because it's not going to be well loved like the original trilogy was. The original trilogy was so well received that any movie that would have come after it would have been criticized heavily when they first came out. And just because people found flaws does not make them inherently bad movies, because what the neg is arguing for is that these are bad movies. Not that they're mediocre movies, they have to be bad, because bad is the opposite of good. This happened with other franchises like Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra after it. If a series is massively popular, it will take fans time to warm up to whatever comes after it, and that is exactly what we have seen with the Star Wars prequels. Thank you.